I'll never forget the battle of room 104. I had there was one faction of seasoned citizens. They were the older workers that worked for us at the company, and they wanted the thermostat set to a certain level, and it needed to be warmer at certain times and colder at others. It was just all over the place, right? But they were in agreement in their side. And then there was the other side, which was our younger folks who really just wanted the temperature to stay the same regardless throughout the day. And I'll never forget when I had folks coming to me. Finally, I heard yelling down the hall, and I was like, "What in the world is going on here?" Wander down there, and yeah, they are arguing over that. Sally went and changed this. Michael did this. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to put a lock, and this is about a decade ago. So obviously, I'm dating myself here, but I had to put a lock, like a cover, on the thermostat, and let them know, like, if anyone needs to change this, they have to come see me, the boss, in order to change the thermostat temperature. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not alone in this. I've talked to other individuals and they've had to go through this too. This is just one version of it. And it's always again, the marrying these two different types of multiple types of individuals and trying to get all of these different perspectives and comfort levels that people have to be productive and trying to find like average. And I think, and we're looking at an article today from Fast Company, and they bring up a very valid point that we need to reimagine collectively across the board as business owners what our people need to be successful, right? Our job is to organize, train, and equip. And with that, how do we equip them with what they need to be successful if we need them in the office? And that's really where we're at right now. And what we're going to be talking about here is how how can we look at things in a new way to take what was the best of working at the house, the comfort level, you're be able to set up your spot exactly like you want it set up, and then but melding that with the business needs of having folks in person, right? Because there are business cases where you absolutely need where you want your folks together, and that's been discussed at length. So we're gonna look at that today. So again, for those that don't know, my name is Ryan Howe. I'm a business coach that works out of West Michigan and around the country, and I come here live on YouTube pretty consistently every single day, sharing information I share with my clients. And I hope to earn your subscription today. Let's get into it here. All right, again, from fastcompany.com. Link is in the description. Be sure to go check them out. We love to get them clicks. They do good work here. Return to office mandate is here. So is the open office. Oh, I hate open office concept. It's just, whew, yeah, man, it's rough. One has to go. We want to take a look at this, and again, we don't want to default to the old environments. We want spaces where we can have collaboration when needed, but also where privacy can happen. But we don't want to go back to, again, in a version of this, which was like cubicles, which all it did was put walls around you and then still let all the chatter in, right? It's one of those things. We got to figure it out. Yeah, man, did I ever feel like this a lot when I was working in the office? Oof. Okay, this is from Travis Holman. All right, the era of remote work flexibility is over. From Fortune 100 companies, federal agencies, small businesses as well. They've been pulling everybody back uh, to the office towers and cubicles. Again, the RTO mandates. We've talked about this at length on the program here. Basically, according to a January 2025 survey by Resume Builder, 9 in 10 companies will require workers back in the office by the end of the year. 30% are already enforcing a full 5-day in-office schedules. Now, the problem with this, fail to consider what employees lose when they lose their home workspace behind. When you have folks been working at home, what they discovered was, they could set up their office exactly what they want, but there was a comfort level that they could have that maybe wasn't, I want to say office appropriate, but it wasn't office standard. Okay. One of my favorite things, I had an employee that when she was working from home, she was telling me she's never felt better because she could have again, she had these fuzzy, warm slippers that she could wear and kept her feet warm. And when she was in the office, it was always a problem. And I told her, I was like, why didn't you just let me know? I would have bought you a heat pad for your feet. Like, we got to solve that. And that was part of the issue that we ran into. We were discovering as the folks working from home is that they were coming up with all these solutions and solving them themselves because it was in the privacy of their own home. They would not have done the same thing in the office. So instead, they just suffered. So that's one note we want to make sure we keep in our top of mind here is, again, for businesses, managers, and leaders here is, hey, there's our people are suffering silently. Let's see if we can figure out how we can help them out here. All right, now at homes again, love this. They can adjust the lighting, lower the noise, choose chair temperature, background music, even the scent of their workspace, right? They got the little scenty things going all over. Where I've been in those places where, I did not want anybody with a oil diffuser anywhere near me just for allergy purposes, right? But other folks, they love it, and they could optimize their productivity, and it worked. Studies show employees working from home reported lower stress, better focus, and higher productivity. The one thing we did cover in a previous video was they do have there was some, I want to say, stressors that did occur as far as lack of socialization with people. So that was one of the downturns they had. But beyond that, folks were able to come in and hammer and do their work. And they could work when they wanted to. That was the other thing. A lot of folks work from their chairs and stuff, their couches. They found a place just to be comfortable and do their work. But when they return to standardized open layouts, complete with bright overhead lights, echoing voices, and a one-size-fits-all desk, they don't lose flexibility. They lose their ability to perform at their best. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure we're staying focused on here. Now, one of the things here is they talk about the neurodiverse individuals, and I got all of this, where the workplace is a barrier for neurodiverse individuals. I don't want to focus directly, even though this is what the article has on here. I want to look at this holistically, that every single person that works for you has a specific set of needs. And let me go back over here, that as a business owner, we should be taking into account what do they need to be able to work at their best. If we're going to have them in the office, we need to make sure that is part of the conversation. Like, what do they really need to be successful? What can we provide within reason, right? Not everybody's going to be getting like, rocket ship lean back armchairs with 5, monitors over them with their own massage table and stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. But we want to make sure that we have that figured out. And to the best of our abilities, we want to be able to provide that for folks. And it's a lot of it's just asking. But on the flip side of this, I'm looking at you employees, right? Not suffering in silence. When you have the opportunity to say, hey, like again, I mentioned with the lady with the cold feet, would it be possible to would it be possible to get some sort of, not just a heater, but maybe a warming mat for my feet? Because when I'm sitting here working, my feet get really cold and I don't want to have fuzzy slippers at work because it doesn't seem professional. And for me, that's a reasonable request. Like, yeah, let's see what we can do to figure that out. Okay. And that's what I mean. We want to make sure that you are looking at things that way across board. Let's get back into this here. Okay. And this is a great perspective from the individual here, where they got a few weeks ago, years ago, I walked into a client's office and saw rows of open desks, bright overhead lighting, and people chatting all the way around. And so there's no way I could work here. Regardless, I just, and for some people, they need that. They need to be surrounded by people constantly, need to have the interaction, and that's cool. That's fine. We love those folks, right? I've been worked around those individuals my entire life, and it's great. Be productive, but they also are filling their social battery nonstop. I was always one, I need my own office. I need to be able to shut the door and just be left alone to go focus. Because again, as a manager, as a leader, right? Managing and leading large, multi hundreds of people operations, I needed to be able to go to a place that I could recharge my battery and quiet, work on the things I need to do. So then when I went out, I was fully charged, ready to go for my folks. If I had to be constantly around folks, I would not be able to give 100% when I talk to them, right? That's kind of the idea here. The modern office is not designed for everyone. It isn't. The modern office is designed to maximize space utilization. The more modern office is getting to where they've designed rooms for collaboration, right? They got the huddle rooms, they got your little, they've really looked at these other areas to where how can we maximize collaboration? The next iteration is how can we then also provide office space for those individuals who don't want to work around a bunch of other folks, and make sure that they have what they need, right? So that's really what we're talking about here, where with the rest of this here, I'm going to leave this here for you guys to go check out the article here. I'm not going to subscription. Sorry, that subscribe thing keeps popping back on here. So here's what I'm talking with my clients about. And we've already done this in a couple of the companies that I work with, and it's been as successful as it can be for return to office mandates, right? Because the vast majority of people didn't want to come back in the first place, but everyone's getting back in their groove now. When we were looking at, okay, we want everybody to come back, we took this into account. We actually talked about this, like, hey, hold on. Everybody's been chilling at their house. They've been working from the office or from their home. What do we got to look at collectively to make sure that they are going to be successful? And what we want to do is we actually took the floor space and said, okay, how can we rethink the floor space that we have? And a couple things that we did, and it was I really thought it was a lot of ingenuity here. Is that for our tech folks, they were sharing. They had an office, and then there was the server room, right, and other stuff. We actually talked to them and say, hey, how would you like us to be able to set up your office in the server room before you come back? And there's a server closet, right, with its own, like, venting and everything. But we actually talked to them first, like, yeah, well, that'd actually be better if we could just be in the server room, with the terminal. That's where we're going to work out of anyways, because had been remoting in for the last couple of years. So we actually talked to them, and we set them up that way, which then freed up a set of offices that we then were able to use for some other folks. And we kind of did this little office, I don't want to say rodeo, but this, shuffle, to where we are able to get 30% more individual office space for folks and have it be available than we did prior, just by shuffling some stuff around. And that's what I mean. We just take a look at your office, make sure you're thinking and talk, but not just thinking about your folks can need. Talk to your folks. What would they actually like to be able to have? What would help them be productive? And your job as a manager and leaders, business owners, is to organize, train, and equip. So you do that piece, you're going to be amazed at how quickly that you're going to be able to find very simple solutions for a lot of these things. Now, do folks want to come back to the office that are working from home? Most of the part, no. We all know that. They'd rather just work from home because of the commute and everything else. But if they have to come in, hey, let's talk and let's do what we can to meet them more than halfway on this, okay? So again, for those are interested in what I do here, again, where I help businesses grow faster than I ever thought possible. It's one of my favorite things to do, is to be able to come in, work with those businesses that are frustrated. Like, man, I know I should be able to do better, but we just can't get any traction. Like, we're not able to get our feet underneath us and really go after the business we know that's out there. We keep getting stuck with processes that can't get done. They're can't find the right people. Strategy is just not working out or non-existent. That's what I do. I come in and I work with businesses to do that, with the ultimate goal of building a business that has value, that as a business owner, you can then sell whenever you're ready, at the same time protecting the jobs of those individuals that have been working with you for so long. We get into AI automation. There's an entire process that we're currently, again, that I'm working with my team on, that we are working to completely offload, where your social media. So if you're a small business owner and you're like, man, I don't have time for posting. I don't know. I can't figure this piece out. We have a process where you just send an email of a picture to yourself, and it posts to your social media, already has the description all set up, links like you want, all the goodness goes to your social media. So those are the type of things that I work with my clients on. If you're interested to learn more about how we do that amongst everything else, from operations, supply chain, hiring, executive coaching, supervisor coaching, check me out at summitbusinessguys.com. All right, again, thank you for watching so long. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. Take care. I'll see you next time.